Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his ever-trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Today you have in front of you some heavy infantry from Fireforge Games. They're painted up as Livonian Brotherhood of the Sword. They wore white cloaks, white livery, white cloaks. The shield was white with an iron cross and a sword, which is basically the standard uniform of the Livonian Brotherhood. I have really themed this army by giving all of the Brotherhood members cloaks, and this was a deliberate decision to do, given that they fought the entire time right up in the north. So they all have a cloak, and the cloak is taken from all the different boxes that I've got that have cloaks. Most cavalry sprues have four cloaks on them, so I was able to take the cloaks off them. And I've spread them out between the entire army, so I think they look quite good.
Look cool.
You will notice that all the troops are dirty and scruffy. The Livonians were fighting in mud and marshland, so the tips of the shields have been dragged through the mud. Some of the men are clean, some of the men have mud stains up their surplice, and the bottom of the cloak is of course covered in mud. I usually did the mud with 3 different shades of brown, starting off with dark brown, dry brushing over with medium brown, and then going over in the end with bone colour, which is a sort of, I don't know what the modern Games Workshop name for it is, but I use
bone mould, was it?
It's bone, skeleton bone.
That's it, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, but it's not called that anymore. I don't know what it's called now. It's got a really stupid name with Z's in it.
I've seen the paint you buy.
Yeah. What?
Why can't they call it red or green?
Yeah,
Is it
red.
goblin green? What?
They don't even do goblin green anymore. It's called Zaka something Zogvog green. Snotling eyeball purple. You know, just call it red or green, as you say. That's perfect. Green number 1, green number 2, green number 3. Just it's easy.
Light green, dark green.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to order figures over the phone. We used to ring Games Workshop up and say, "Can I have these figures?" And you can just say Goblin Green and stuff. If you did it now, it's I want Zagreb, Zanzibar, something orange, please. It's just stupid names. I don't know, just stupid names. And also, most Games Workshop paints are rubbish now. And anyway, the company's gone under, hasn't it?
No, it's still there.
No, the actual company that originally sold the paints has gone bust. Because they changed the paints to being good paints, medium paints, and really thin paints that don't stick to anything. And people just stopped buying them because it was stupid. Right, anyway, that's enough of that. And here we have the knights. I've done them in a nice collection of different heads to make them a little bit more individual. I saw someone online who'd selected the heads from all the boxes and given each unit the same helmet. And it looked cool, but it's not really very realistic. So, there we go. Yeah, it's quite cool. Most of the troops are armed with axes and maces. That was the primary weapons used by the Livonians. So, they're really heavy into close combat. And axes and maces are the best things to go up against armoured infantry. A few guys have swords because they've lost their mace or axe, so they resort to their last defensive weapon, which is a sword, and they draw the sword and fight with the sword. But mainly maces and axes are just the best thing to deal with enemy infantry if they wear an armour, and certainly fight up against the Russians. The Russians were heavily armoured. So you needed some way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tool up as to who you're fighting, really.
So what was used against Russians then?
Mace or axe. But literally, they are the best weapons to fight against Russian soldiers. If you want, something like a halberd would have been good, but it hadn't been invented at the time. So that would have been useful. Especially for lighter armed infantry. But these troops are heavy infantry.
Well, it was in the east.
Anything you want, really.
A knife?
A knife will probably do, yeah, considering who you're up against. Most of the time a knife will do just as fine. But
a sharp, pointy stick. I think that would be alright.
I just loud words. Just insults work. You just shout at an army to run away.
Actually did that.
They actually did that, yeah. Just
Richard did it.
Boom! Run away! Run away! Yeah. But yeah, really, if you're going against armoured infantry, you want something like a mace. And I say that in every single video I do about maces, but maces are just the most awesome weapon. And great for taking out troops with armour. Because if you're fighting, say, Russians who are wearing chainmail, the spiky mace, it has the weight behind it with the actual mace itself, but it has a spike, and the spike will penetrate the mail and go through and actually do some serious damage. Same with armoured helmets and stuff. So it's quite good. Next question? Our first question. Have you asked a question yet?
I don't ask any questions yet.
Right, you can go for questions then.
Were the sergeants' arms support troops, or were they the proper troops they mainly used?
Well, sergeants at arms are the bodyguard of the chapter master or the
Marshal.
The marshal, yeah. These aren't sergeants at arms, they're order chapter heavy infantry. Is their technical term.
Well, they look like sergeants at arms.
They do a bit, yes. And they were usually the sort of, when you didn't have knights to spare, the heavy infantry were effectively sergeants who were wearing a lot better kit, and they would be used to garrison castles and things, fortresses, defensive positions, because they were pretty well armoured, they were pretty well equipped, they were more or less close to how good knights were, although they didn't really have the training of knights, but it was a way of sort of giving yourself additional heavy infantry. Not quite knights, because you don't have enough knights, but they filled the role that knights would normally fill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question?
No, because the Livonians, they had, some of their army had non-Christians.
Yes.
Right. Did these guys, the heavy infantry, have to be Christian?
I would think so, yes.
Because they do defend the castles.
They're more trusted. They're the ones who are actually relied on the battlefield. Sergeants are your regular soldiers. All the sergeant means is a trained soldier. That's all it means. A veteran soldier. A soldier who knows how to fight.
Not nowadays.
No, not now. Now it's an actual official rank.
Yeah.
But in those days, the term sergeant simply means trained soldier. So these troops are heavy infantry. They're above sergeants because they're actually assigned to the order.
So
they're actually they're part of the order. They're actually working part of the order, whereas sergeants are normally either paid soldiers who come and fight. These guys won't actually be paid officially. They will receive money to fight. They are professional soldiers, but that money is part of their job, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I'm making it complicated. Holy Orders tended to have, there was a rank in the Holy Orders, which I'll actually go into in the video about the Standard Bearer, called Standard Bearer. There was an official title, the Standard Bearer, and he wasn't the man who held the standard. He was the Paymaster General. He was the guy in charge of the money, basically, and he would march in front of the standard, so you always knew where he was. And one of the reasons for this is that if you see the standard getting attacked, you go and defend it, not because you want to save the flag necessarily,
more money, but
the guy who pays you is the guy next to the flag. So, hey, that guy's got my paycheck, I'm going to go and get him.
Yeah.
I'm going to save him. It's clever stuff. So that's about that. So normally these troops would actually live within the Livonian households. They'd live in the actual manor houses and the fortresses that they used.
That's all questions.
Yeah, that's it. Right, well, that's the end of the video. Outro?
So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Livonian Heavy Infantry. That's everything from me.
And everything from him. Thank you for watching now. Goodbye.
Bye bye.